John McCaig with Jesus Christ Trust, please consider donating so that I could continue this work. Thank you. Okay, this video is about violent nonviolence. Okay, that is the type of nonviolence reserved for perfect masters. Uh, there are other types of nonviolence, and in Eastern tradition, the term nonviolence is ahimsa. And so, and I suggest you look into Mayor Baba's discussion of nonviolence because it's really the most important. Sorry, I left the music on, my bad. But briefly though, Mayor Baba does say there are some types of violence, physical violence, that makes sense. You know, a drowning man, you go to save him, and he starts to drown you. And if you hit him over the head, then you can carry him to shore safely. You know what I mean? That's the type of violence where you save someone's life. There's a mad dog in the street walking down a street full of children. You have a gun, and there's a mad dog. The violence in that case is warranted. Smart, saving children. You see what I'm saying? He brought up these things. You see, but in a strict manner of speaking, nonviolence is extremely important. They're super rare when you would ever use these physical violence things to literally save someone's life. You know what I mean? Could come up, but it would be extremely rare. But it's just making the point that it can come up. Nonviolence as a principle is perfect, but there are smatterings of opportunities where violence is okay. Like, every time I swat a mosquito on me, sucking my blood, I say God's name and pray for it to go on to another lifetime. Unlike the Jains, who will carefully not step on a bug, they're just, you could take it to extremes and then sort of make errors, okay, in nonviolence. And that's what, Gandhi did. Gandhi would not, Mayor Baba met with him on I think it was the Queen Mary or some other ship, and he's the only individual that read a page of Mayor Baba's hidden book. One or two pages. No other individual ever did it, is what we're told. And Mayor Baba said, well, you're doing good work, but if you follow me, you'd be doing better work, And Connie's like, no, I have to do this. And why would he say that, because everybody's like, Gandhi, Gandhi, you know what I mean? Well, those individuals did not call God's name, and so were hit over the head and were treated to violence. Like, if they actually knew how to stop violence, if Gandhi did, and said, no, our name of our God is this, we're going to stand here, who's the supreme name of God? Jesus Christ. But you see what I'm saying? That he didn't do that. He made it like a cultural, societal issue only, nothing to do with God. And so he absolutely missed the main point. And Baba said, you're going to have to take a few more lifetimes then, sorry. That's what he told him right at the time. You're kind of missing the point here, buddy. But, he understood, events were going to take place, obviously, because, God caused them. But you have to see the error in what was done. And so now let's get back to the topic of what perfect masters do, right? They do violent nonviolence. No one is touched. That type, true nonviolence. People that do my work, they sign the trust. They can't be killed. They can't be harmed. They can't be touched. All you have to do is follow the common law, dharma, right? Do unto others as you would have done unto you. And if you follow that law as best as you can, no one's perfect, just as best as you can. God made us, knows our limitations, right? And so is not expecting anything better than the best you can do. Why would God expect something else? No. And so I bring up the principles of, what is the sword here? God's name. And so no violence can come upon you without sword. You see that it's your sword, it's your shield, it's everything. In martial arts, you got to learn your shield first before you learn any weapon, right? Well, the name is your sword, it is your shield, it's both, it's your armor, it's everything you have. You see, and Gandhi misses, you know? He's never, oh, you're in a dome. No, he made the sixth plane. That's what Mary Baba said. There are 7 planes of spiritual consciousness. The 6 keep you in the dome. And no angel can go farther than the 6th. That's what it says. No angel can go. Even Gabriel can only go to the 6th plane. And that's it. It can't go further. He's the messenger. Oh, you're going to the 7th plane. Well, then you meet Gabriel, and he's like, here you go. There's God. Okay, you go past Gabriel, the messenger, and then you're kneeling at God's feet, and that's the 7th plane. So, and Gandhi never made it. I mean, I'm not saying he never made it. He didn't make it in the lifetime that we're given this historical character story of. Whether Gandhi lived or not that's not important. Not important that anyone lived in the past, because maybe they didn't, maybe they did, maybe they lived in the ether. It doesn't matter. It's God's story, and that's why it's real. The spiritual points are real. The story is laid down by God to teach us. You see, Gandhi made a mistake, and this, not saying what the mistake was, but Mayor Bob was saying, well, you could do better. And he's like, no, I have to do this. He's like, oh, okay. So, the focus on violent nonviolence from where I am is to, come with God's name, can't be touched, can't be harmed. Never take a nonviolent action where, you might come to harm or something. Like, why bother? Take smaller steps. Learn, the spiritual latent miracle properties that exist here, and learn how to use them in situations that give you the information and the experience, but don't put you at risk. For example, the free home stuff. I suggest, step by step going about it. Don't really risk anything, anything except for you risk losing your programming that they put into us, right? You risk that. You risk all of that. All that's going to go away. You see, and that's my goal. If the programming goes away within inside you, that's, the devil, and then there's a vacant space. It's empty. Oh my God. Well, what do you fill that with? The truth. And once you do that, what can happen to you? Nothing. Nothing but good, right? Even seemingly bad situations are experienced to be experienced on the spiritual path to get you another lesson to keep you moving forward. You don't stop at some point and be like, no, I'm good. Now. You take this non-violence to the top, and that's why, yeah, I figured out how to win the war. The war does exist. It will be won. It's planned out, right? It's the 7,000 humans and Jesus versus everything else here, everything, and so they're gonna lose, obviously, and that's fun. That's fun for us. And you gotta think about it. If you're a carny at the carnival and somebody's riding the Ferris wheel having a good time, well, that's your work, You're cool too. Hey, oh, you did your work. People came to the carnival and they had a good time. Like, why would you be at the carnival, right? Why would you be there running the rides unless you're trying to make people have a good time? You're not, if you're one of the carnies trying to rip people off and stuff, it's like, well, you know, you're gonna get dealt with by karma. But if you're there to help people, serve people, well, people are like, oh, I remember you. I came through here last time, and you're really nice to me. You let me on the Ferris wheel. It's like, yeah, hey, you know, that's how they're in your wings, and that's how you can tell the difference of who's who and what's what up in here. So, but the work of the 7,000 servants of Jesus Christ playing this game in this time loop at this time is, and it always is, okay? It's not going to change what it is. Every time loop is going to be the same. How can we take this name to the top and then, get the other team out of our lives and off the physical property, that as servants of Christ we inhabit. Why we got to pay for this stuff, eh? God laid it down. Here it is. Time starts. It's 9/11, 1969, and all the property just shows up. Blink! In a blink of an eye. Why do they get it all? They get it all. And let me tell you why. They get it all. You got to pay the banker, all this stuff. Why? You got to win the war. You see what I'm saying? You have to overcome the programming yourself and take this to the real estate. Put his name up there and prove to everyone, right, that, hey, I am here, I'm your servant, and I'm willing to go to the death for you. Either the name works or it doesn't, and that's it. And then we live and die on the name of God, Jesus Christ. Nothing else. Our life hinges on not anything else. Nothing. Nothing else. If you're not doing that, then you don't care about your life, right? It's like, yeah. No, our existence is for one reason, to serve Jesus Christ. What do we have? His name. You understand? The spiritual principles at play here are so extremely simple in the end. Why? Because we have a compassionate, loving God that knows, I'm going to throw situations at you where you're just going to, you're not going to believe it. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to be involved in it and you're not going to believe it. And what is every human's natural reaction? You know what I mean? You scream the name of God, like, or you can't believe what's going on. You're like, Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? It bursts out of you, like, and that's what's in there. That in the end is us saying, oh my God, help, with his name. Because that's where we are. It's like, but you need him all the time. So get used to saying his name all the time, not just screaming out loud at the last desperate second, And we'll go over more principles in these videos of how to kind of live your daily life in a way that God supports you. Not taking necessarily extra time or something, but just patterns to lay down that keep you mentally stable and happy and moving forward with your life, and the other team doesn't have traction over you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm working on. So these public videos that I'm putting out now are going to be put private at some point and turned into a Christian minister course, where at the end of it, there's ordination, which, in the spiritual hierarchy, it's not ego, me saying I'm a saint. It's a responsibility. And so part of that responsibility is, the physical touching of the ones who complete the task of education to be a minister, and then, at the end, hands are laid on in the proper way, and that's how the armor of Jesus, one enters the hierarchy. Put it that way. One enters properly the spiritual hierarchy. That's how it happens, that someone above you gets you in there. God puts you in there, right? But it must play out that miracles are performed. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, an individual has to be engaged in something where a miracle needs to happen, So there's a performance, there's actions, there's people, there's things going on. You see miracles happen because of action, karma. God's like, oh man, you're going to mess up your karma with this. Something's going to go awry. Stepping in, you see, and that's understanding the law of karma, where God does step in. You see what I'm saying? No, God will step in. It's a servant of Christ who's put themselves out there to save someone, but they're not going to use violence. They're not going to be like, oh, I'm going to use violence. And no matter what, you're going to use his name. I never use violence. To be honest with you, I never will. In any situation, I'll die first. I just will. Like, it's okay to defend yourself. You know what I mean? Like, not defend like hit somebody back or something like that. No, but if you see, some whatever, even if it's something, someone falling or tripping or, dropping something, or, it's okay to push something or someone out of the way where you're involved in events or something like that. But if it's really like someone wants to be violent on you in your face, no matter where or what, no, I'm not. There's no reason for violence. I have his name, and they stop. They can't swing, can't pull a gun, none of that. So, you have his name. I, over here, and my actions, I have tested the name in every situation, and I don't see a reason for violence in any case, ever. I never. I'm like a Jane, you know what I'm saying? Except for the, mosquitoes. I mean, those are understanding that those are souls evolving forward in the form. Then okay, it's okay for me to swat a bug and say his name because I just progressed them forward, you know? But it's different. Animals aren't trying to hurt you or whatever. You have his name over that. I'm not trying to use that over insects and stuff like that. That's not, it's not. Mirababa used to have a night watchman every time he sleep outside his room. They were never allowed inside. And what he would say to them is, don't move if you get stung by a mosquito. And sometimes they'd be sitting out there just covered in mosquitoes, trying not to move. And sometimes they move and he'd open the door. Why'd you move? It's like, what? You know. So ahimsa, nonviolence, is really the underlying, because God steps in and stops violence. You see what I'm saying? There's a violent script at play here. A violent against us, mentally violent, power, everything around us is violently, programming us to be a certain way. And so it's a violent mental and physical, reaction, but only in nonviolence to get you out of your programming, Somebody, let me use an example. Like, I use a sledgehammer. Like, you want to break cast iron, right? You use a sledgehammer, okay? So, like, someone came up to me last night. I'm at the drum circle. He's like, and I go out there and dance for God, and really it's like a miracle. I not just because I'm old, and people are like, what is that old? How old is that dude? And so it happens all the time. Like, this older guy I just leave the circle and he's standing there. He's like, how old are you, man? I was like, well, time starts in 9/11/69. So you and me, he was older than me or my age or whatever. I was like, you and me are the same age, man. Exactly the same date, born on the same day. He just looks at me. But that's a sledgehammer to the brain. You wanted to interact with me. I'll never speak to you ever again. And for the rest of my life, you're a visitor coming to the beach in Florida. And we had one moment. And so I have to stick that ice pick to the center core of your brain. You see, wiggle it. Hey, this ain't working for you. You got to move forward. You see, and move their thinking forward. Taking the name moves everyone's thinking forward, right? The police, the system, how are we going to deal with it? They have a reaction. They are having a reaction. You see? Like, they're afraid of the name, and they should run before the service of Christ said, otherwise we'll film it, and we got some video, and guess what? So it's a constant, planning out nonviolence and not allowing violence to happen to you. That's what Jesus gave his life for. You see, we can't have violence happen to us. No, it can't happen once you take his name, sign the trust. It can't happen. It's not possible. You will live until judgment day if you just follow the common law. If you go outside and break it, go to the devil, do those things, well, your death is imminent, sadly. Sorry. And so, but Jesus said eternal life. Eternal means you're not going to die in this lifetime, right? Nah, don't worry. I'll watch out for you. You see, even if you die as somebody, I'll put you back in the body. It's like, oh, thanks. It's sort of, once you get to the end of it, and understand it, it's actually a curse. You see, where I am, it's a curse. You see, but it's a curse that my karma warrants, or else I wouldn't be cursed with it, So I accept it. But you have to understand it for what it is. I reached the end goal, and then he put me back in the body to help. I'm like, that, yeah, yeah, you made it, but it's like, oh man, I must have done some stuff, huh? And then I'm like, that sounds like me. That sounds like me. I probably pulled some stuff, that maybe was a mistake or something, but I was trying to pull some stuff to not be a mistake. So, I was like, yeah, that might be me. Anyway, so just an understanding of what you're engaged in, and if you could move the power of the name forward with proof to your brothers and sisters via video, you go up the spiritual hierarchy. That's the way it works. That's just the way it works. That's how I got here. That's how you get there. There's no other methodology. It's like, oh, you do it this way, you do it that way. No, well, there's slightly different things, but it's just, I got some video from my neighbors. I showed my brothers and sisters what can be done with proof. That's not going to be outside of that. That's how you're going to advance spiritually. There's not going to be another method that anyone is going to advance spiritually. You get it? By serving others, that's how you advance. And you do it, step by step. You don't rush out there, whatever. Most people don't. Uh, but time's a ticking. So it's up to you how you want to do this, okay? But understand the principle of what's behind your actions, right? Violet, non-violence. I get a message from God. Hey, guess what? Don't have to buy it. Real estate, the bankers are a hoax. Oh, really? How do you do that? Oh, his name. Okay. Here we go. Right? Here we go. And so now the field is open, right? I'm not closing the game. I can close the game if I go win the game. I can put the name up on a building, go inside, film it, whatever. Then I win, then everybody does it, but nobody really advances that far because nobody really broke trail. You see, no more seats are created. Okay, maybe people go to heaven or stuff like that, but that's not my only goal. No way. It's for the whole thing to happen, you know. But in the hierarchy, I am prevented from doing this. This has to be another individual. I keep asking. I quit asking, but I asked a lot of times, and it was always the same answer. So there's no way around that. You see, I could know, I could show, I could prove it, I could do all this stuff, but the last final step has to be done by someone else because they get to advance. I've been cutting off their advancement. And that's not my goal at all. No. My goal is that you advance. That's it. And the only way forward to do that is with this non-violent, with this violet non-violence, right? We're doing non-violence, but it's such a way to break programming of everyone so that they come over to the truth, right? We're laying down, this information for them. Hey, watch this miracle, They're like, whoa. And then their foundation of reality is removed from beneath them, and they have to rethink everything. That's our work. Okay. And thank you to the people doing this. So, listen, Mary, I have got one video from one individual, Mary, and I hope that email got back to you that I wrote you. Please post this information in Jesus Christ Trust, the video itself, please. Let's get the ball rolling on this proof, okay? I seen it, you have it. It's not required that you post it, but please do that. Like you did the first step, you did it for real. You deserve the payback, spiritually. Like, and how do you get that? You get that by showing others, hey, guess what? This one, just give the video, or respond to it in the pseudo forum. It's a private forum. It's just people doing the work. So if you could please do that, I would really appreciate that. And others will, others will take heart from what you've done. I see that video. It's beautiful, it's so wonderful. Anyway, thank you for doing that. Thank you for showing it to me. Can you please bring it out for everyone else, please, into the forum? And I'd like this free home stuff to be on Jesus Christ Trust, please, to allow Liberty Aid Academy to keep going and not be involved in this, what will come about, you know what I mean? This is why this church needs to exist, because this is going to turn into, what it's going to turn into. So understand that, please, and I could better support you and give you direct information and stuff like that, like just by typing it out really quickly, instead of, through email, through what goes to school, and I get it set, please do it into the forum. It's just back and forth, okay? Anyway, thank you for that, too. I just thank you, Mary, for doing that, and I can't, it's been so long. I have been doing this work and putting up videos and so on. And for you to do that, just, uh, it gives me, you know, an understanding that there are other souls coming along, and that this someone else will come along and do this. And now I can see this as a reality. And there's plenty of time left to do this, but now this is a human race, right? We do this work individually. So, you know, whoever gets this done first, I'm just saying, obviously, I got what I did done first, and so what happened to me? And so what's going to happen to you, whoever does it first? You follow me? I'm just trying to make it so you have the information so you can make your best decisions. That's all. That's my role. Hey, do this. No, no, no. This can be done. This is the outcome if you do it. Do I say do it? No, I don't. I don't, because each individual gets to decide what their spiritual progress is on the path. Not me, you, each individual. Okay? And so let me pray for your advancement, each individual that hears this, in the name of Jesus Christ.